Yes, I get it. They're unpaid interns, but they shouldn't be making mistakes, okay? I am building a billion-dollar company. I don't have time. Okay, cool. I just got a call. Yeah, so let's do it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I have like an investor call coming, so we need to go fast. Okay? Let's go. Yeah. 1 second. I'm getting another call. Yeah, Ryan. Listen. Don't call me. Okay? Fire them.
Do you think the valuation of your company reflects the reality?
We've raised $20 million, and I think we should be raising more.
I have a very special guest today. You've probably seen him on Instagram as the European Kid and my tech CEO.
What is the internet like? The internet loves a character.
An asshole character for some reason, both of you.
No one really knew that the European Kid was sometimes me and my brother. This entire character that we're doing is amazing. The internet loves this. What happens if you take the same approach and apply it to another industry?
I have like an investor call coming, so we need to go fast. Okay?
The reason why it goes so viral is because it's naturally controversial. Because really the problem with the European Kid and why there's so much controversy is that everyone is very convinced that this is exactly what's happening. Everyone is very serious, and that's great. But what happens if you just come across someone who just seems like pretentious, ridiculous? Like, you're gonna naturally listen to them a lot more. And so I think that's one of the things that we realized when starting that account.
Hey guys, welcome to Silicon Valley Girl. I have a very special guest today. You've probably seen him on Instagram as the European Kid and my tech CEO. Oh my goodness, this guy, you're so talented. It is crazy. I want to talk about your journey. I want to talk about what you're doing in Silicon Valley right now. So let's start with your age.
So I'm actually 23.
And everyone just felt so old. I felt so old right now. So you are based where?
I'm based in San Francisco, but I travel a lot. So I can't really say I'm properly based here.
So when did you come? When did you arrive in SF?
I came about 9 months ago.
To do what?
I was doing some work with a startup. I came to SF and I was doing some work with a startup on growth. And then I realized, wow, SF is an incredible place. There's so many talented people out here. I just love the atmosphere. And I felt like when I was in SF, I got work done and I was moving towards what I wanted to do in life. So I was like, I have to stay here.
When did you start your Instagram account?
My Instagram account, so I started the European Kid together with my twin brother about 19 months ago.
And this is where I want to pause. They're actually twins. This is the best thing you could do for an Instagram account because you have two people who look exactly the same. You can be in different locations and you can iterate because you don't show both of you on accounts. It's just one person. You can never tell which person you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. So up until I'd say the last month, no one really knew that the European Kid was sometimes me and my brother.
Wait, are you the European Kid?
Yeah, I'm Louis.
Which one of you is it?
Don't worry, you can see my Sorry, it's my twin brother.
I'm the guy you've seen on TikTok, okay?
No, allez,
I don't know, you guys look really familiar.
honestly, it's me. I'm being
Go,
serious.
you know I get more girls than you. Shut up.
You think you
Oh, that wasn't really what I was asking.
The
You
Australian
know what?
model?
Doesn't matter.
Now it's definitely mostly my brother, and I'll share why exactly that's the case. But it's honestly extremely useful having a twin brother because it just gives you two people to think about content. Yeah, it's really funny because growing that account, I never thought about the impact it would have as doing videos without both of us in them. But I realized over time people didn't realize that we were two people, and now it's coming out and it's an added interesting thing about our account.
How did you start it? How did you get the idea?
So my twin brother was in a hotel room and he was just I want to record this video because one of the things that we're both really good at is we're really good at accents. And we grew up in Belgium, and so in Belgium we grew up in Brussels. They speak French. We naturally had a really good sense of the different accents that are present in Europe, from French to Dutch to Spanish.
But your parents are American? Sorry.
My parents my mom's Greek and my dad's American. So we have 3 nationalities. But yeah, growing up in Europe, we picked up all these accents and we were pretty good at them. And so my brother had a great French accent.
Guys, this spot was reserved for me, huh? You guys not read those name cards here? I'm pretty sure it's Louis right here.
As a creator, I'm constantly looking for ways to start new businesses, to launch new products, and for other ways to monetize my online presence. And today I want to thank Printify. It's a platform that helps people like me, creators and entrepreneurs, to launch new businesses. They're sponsoring this video. Printify is an easy-to-use platform that helps you create a print-on-demand business by designing and selling beautiful, custom products online. This is a perfect solution for creators to start monetizing their audience or for beginner entrepreneurs, as there is no need for large initial investments. You only pay for products as they're sold. Let me show you how it works. You pick your favorite products for creating merch like t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. Printify has over 900 items, so you'll definitely find something suitable. You can either upload your own designs or use the AI tool on the website. Customize it with the free product creator. It's simple to upload designs, change colors, and preview final products. Preview your product in 3D high-quality images or order samples to ensure the quality of the end product. Once you're happy with the final product, it can be published to e-commerce platform. Printify connects seamlessly to Shopify, Etsy, Wix, eBay, and more. While you still need to advertise the products, order handling and fulfillment fall off your shoulders. Whenever a sale occurs, it goes to production automatically. After creation, the item is packaged and sent to the customer. The entire process is trackable through your Printify account. Printify is trusted by over 8 million sellers worldwide and has the largest global print network. Click the link in the description below this video and start a risk-free, on-demand business with Printify. And now we're back to our conversation.
We were just kind of curious to experiment, like it was at the time, TikTok was already becoming a pretty well-known established platform, and there was a lot of people going viral, and we we're just very curious, what does it take to go viral on TikTok? And so we kind of just experimented, and he was the first one who put the video out, and it did, I think that video got over 1 million. And then we were like, there's something here. The European Kid account just started picking up a lot. And then eventually I realized this entire character that we're doing, like this Louis character, is amazing. Like the internet loves this. What happens if you take the same approach and apply it to another industry? And so this is about 6 months ago. I said to myself, I want to start a completely different account and I want to grow it, leveraging the exact same style as the other account. And so this was about 6 months ago. I started the My Tech CEO account.
It's a virtual meeting. Get out of here. This guy. You will not show up to this office. We're in the cloud, on the blockchain, an AI company. You think a company does that? Stop investing based off CEOs' horoscopes. Half the funds is invested in Geminis.
And it was just drawing from what was working. It's like, what does the internet like? The internet loves a character, someone who's
an asshole character for some reason.
For example, right? I mean, the thing about all the content on YouTube, on Instagram is everyone is very serious, and that's great. But what happens if you just come across someone who just seems like pretentious, ridiculous? Like you're gonna naturally listen to them a lot more. And so I think that's one of the things that we realized when starting that account.
And so you're growing both accounts. How is in general, how has the growth been and how do you monetize it?
Yeah, so I think for the European Kid, monetization is great. And this account is actually largely like my brother fully handles that now. There's a lot of opportunities to work with a lot of luxury companies. We do a lot of sponsored videos.
This is how the European elite dress. Today I flew in my stylist from Sweden to dress me up in Rosenbauer. Day in the life of a rich kid going to the Hugo event for the Miami F1 Grand Prix.
Hi, Jacob. Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
What's your name?
Louis.
I have the most expensive watch in my hand.
Let's see it.
This is $7.7 million. It's called Billionaire. You look happy now?
I'll take it.
Yeah, you did a collab with a private jet company.
Yeah, as well. Actually, this is an interesting story. Like a while, I think this is like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe more. We did this video with the private jet business.
So many people, business clients, models, which are also business clients that I was gonna pick up, and I was expecting I was gonna buy the jets and get it delivered the next day.
I'm looking after your interests, man. I can't just do it without inspecting the aircraft. You're buying an airplane that's safe and everything's working on it. It's not like a car. It doesn't come that easy.
Can I just buy a small one in the meantime so it should be using the
a
summer?
small one, a big one. They all take the same amount of
A
inspection.
little
period.
Cessna to be flying it around to send some people like a little taxi.
The models won't come and see you the second time after you fly a Cessna. I think you need to bring your father in. I really.
What's the difference between me and my father?
Because he has the money. You have the credit card.
Which is like all over social media. You guys might have seen this very fascinating like guy called Steve on who like talks about like selling private jets. We did a video with them back before they were that big of an account, and I don't want to say we put them on the map, but I think we definitely were a key helper in that. I think that video got like 20 million on like TikTok, and it elevated their brand, which is really awesome to see the power of like a character then directly translating towards a brand that a company that is, you know, selling jets, which is a pretty serious business.
Yeah, and what's amazing how you integrate that into your, you know, general storytelling, how you come up with that idea that is catchy, but at the same time it's an ad, but you don't feel like it's an ad.
Yeah.
Can you talk about storytelling? How do you come up with scripts?
Yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, like, I think that the best video ideas, they kind of come to us in the moment. There's a lot of different ways to approach videos. Sometimes we'll like see a specific movie scene and we're like, that's a really funny line. Or sometimes we're in the moment, we're like in a specific environment and we're just like, it would be funny if this happened, if this scene happened. And so a lot of my videos, and like I think all the videos that have gone the most viral have been like in the moment. We're like, for example, sitting at a restaurant, we're like, oh, it would be so funny if we like use these bottles to like do a competition of who's ordering the biggest bottle. Something like stupid like that sometimes. So it's in the moment, or drawing inspiration from other videos we've seen, especially movies, etc.
So, and with my tech CEO, so you mentioned you worked at a startup here in San Francisco. How much of experience do you have interacting with startups? Because I know, you know, what I think about it. So this is all totally relatable, but these stories don't come to my mind like that. And you've been in this area for like 9 months, and you already see those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fairness, actually, I've been in the startup world ever since I was young. I started this company when I was 16. That was like an agri-tech startup, which got a little bit of funding.
Back in Belgium, or?
Back in Belgium, yeah. We like took like deformed fruits and like utilized them to make juice concentrates that were then sold to other businesses. So that was like the first business I got involved with. And that kind of gave me a taste of entrepreneurship. And I was like, this is really cool. And then I started a couple other companies in college. Nothing really took off. So like, I won't give myself credit. They're mostly failed businesses, honestly. But I think that exposed me to a lot of the startup world.
That's great.
And then gave me a lot of the insights I needed to be able to then be like, hey, I want to do a character in the tech world. What would that look like? And so I think that was very useful to draw from that inspiration, from that experience, in deciding what the character will look like and what the videos would look like as well.
Question: do you get any backlash on Instagram? Because when I posted a video with you, remember, when you were at a restaurant, some of my subscribers, they just didn't understand because I'm not in entertainment. I'm most like education serious person.
Yeah.
And they're like, how come you're hanging out with such a rude person? I'm like, do you know satire? Do you know like humor? But I was surprised that some people actually reacted in that way. Do you get that reaction, and what do you think about it?
So I think that for the European Kid account, and especially now that my brother is like really like handling it, that one gets a lot of that one is based off a lot of controversy. You know, like the fact that you come across Instagram or you come across a TikTok where there's a kid who's complaining about the size of his jet, or that his papa hasn't wired him $10,000. You know, it naturally, like when someone sees it, like the reason why it goes so viral is because it's naturally controversial. But I realized, especially with the My Tech CEO character, I wanted to really bring out more of the satire in there so that there would be less of a talk and a conversation around it being controversial. Because really the problem with the European Kid and why there's so much controversy is that everyone is very convinced that this is exactly what's happening. And it's like, okay, like, you know, and I'm not going to say it's not happening because, you know, I want to keep the mystery there. But yeah, obviously it's about engagement. So with the European Kid account, there's a lot of controversy around that. But with the My Tech CEO account and the way that I've grown that, I've been very thoughtful about trying to make the videos look slightly less realistic so that people can kind of easily understand, okay, this is a joke. This is drawing on something happening in the tech world, and he's showing it in a humorous way.
I've tried so hard building a profitable company, and it's just, I can't. I think I need more funding. The whole system is down because someone left an unaccounted button on my website. Yeah. It's your fucking button.
I didn't think users were gonna click on it.
One fucking button away from laying you off and replacing you with Devin. Devin the AI, not this Devin.
So where I'm not going to like speak down on this person and be like, this person is bad, I don't like his content. So that's kind of my thought, like my approach to the content these days.
Still the European kid, because so the controversy, has it attracted more advertisers, or do you feel like some companies pushed back because of how controversial the topic is?
I don't know too well how much it's pushed back companies. I think if anything is like the European kid is like extremely well known, and I say that because I've just seen the impact it's had on my life from like a year ago to like today, like being recognized, like people being like, I've seen these videos. Without a doubt, the algorithm loves it and it'll feed it to people. And a lot of big advertisers might be like, you know, we don't want to associate with that brand, but the truth is that a lot of brands at the same time are going to recognize that this is satire and this is doing extremely well, it's performing well. So I think it hasn't necessarily impacted that much. There is an abundance of like brand deals and companies reaching out to us because they recognize the power of this kind of controversial content that has given us insane reach, I'd say.
Do you feel that in your personal life, when people approach you in the street, do they expect you to have the same accent and like the same attitude?
All the time.
Because I did, when I saw you first, I was like, oh, he has an American accent. He's actually different.
Yeah, no, it's very confusing to people. It's one of the things that like, I hope that over time, as we like think more about brand, like this is the very first brand that we've built. Like the European Kid, now that we're building the MyTechCEO account. Like I hope over time, as we build more brands, people are going to realize that like, hey, this is just like, it's not actually like a French rich kid. It's like, this is just an approach to like content. So it does happen all the time.
Is that why you decided to step back from that account or?
Yeah, and also just I wanted a challenge as well. And I like tech a lot. I'm really in tech, and I think that if I want to build a meaningful personal brand, I think doing it around the industries that I'm already in makes more sense. I think that with the brand that we have right now with the European Kid, it's an absolutely like phenomenal brand. It's largely in the luxury space. Like think about anyone who is like partying in Europe or like enjoys luxurious meals, and like a lot of them will come across that content at some point. But I recognize that we have a whole audience that we're not targeting. And so I think that a similar approach, but like with different styles of content, you know, in this case, in the tech world is going to unlock a whole new demographic of people. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I thought about it. And I feel like there's tons of ways you can leverage that towards branding, and then also down the line with interesting business opportunities as well, which there's definitely a lot of, I'd say, these days.
When you say business opportunity, do you mean brand deals, or like when you get invites to be an advisor at a startup?
I think both. Yeah, I think brand deals is definitely one. I think that, being, for example, asked to join a startup as an advisor is another one.
Have you got those offers already?
I definitely have. Yeah, I was talking actually to an app. They're called Saturn. They're very interesting. They're like a mix of like Snapchat, but Google Calendar, but like targeted towards younger demographics. And they were telling me about how they're trying to kickstart their organic views. And so I was talking to them about this, but about potentially joining as an advisor. But yeah, I think it's really awesome, and I love that because that falls into my domain of what I think I'm good at.
But what's the end goal with all of this? Are you gonna build multiple brands with you being the face, or do you think you can replicate this with other people?
Here's what I would say. I think that naturally I've done a lot of different things. I've been really bad at some things. I've been really good at some things. Like building a tech company, I've been okay at. Like I could make it work, but I don't think I'm phenomenal at it. Like I don't have an incredible product sense. I don't really know. I'm not a technical person. I don't know how to code. I know how to hire great talent. I want to naturally, what I want to do in my life, I want to do extremely well. And I want to do things that I know over the long term are going to pay off. And like just seeing where the content has been able to go, and just seeing leveraging my ability to, do accents to kind of just snap into a personality. And so I want to just focus on what I'm naturally really good at. And I realized that I don't exactly know where I want to be in 7-10 years, but I know that if I stick to what I'm extremely good at and I continue doing things that I know are having a massive impact, I will start to figure out what the path looks like, and then be able to be, more strategic about how I approach that.
Yeah, I love your strategy because you're in both worlds. You're in entertainment and also business, so you know people here and there.
Yeah.
And you just hosted an incredible dinner. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and you've been in SF for like 9 months, and there were top founders at that dinner. How do you think about that? Like hosting dinners, how do you come around this idea?
I think it's really interesting. I would have never really expected it, but I think that you have a big benefit as a creator when it comes to meeting people, especially in SF. And you know this, I'm sure, just as much as I do, because you are obviously a fantastic creator here in SF and Palo Alto. But business people and people, tech founders, they want to meet creators, and it's kind of vice versa. And so I think it's actually been extremely useful to be like able to leverage, what me and my brother have been able to do in meeting people. People are fascinated by it, and so I think I've just been thoughtful around leveraging that in a way where I can approach someone that maybe like a top tier founder and be like, hey, like I have some interesting thoughts around social media. I have some interesting thoughts around branding for you, and they want to listen. And then vice versa, they give me a lot of great business feedback. So I've met some incredible founders that, funny enough, a year ago I would have never been able to network with, but by being thoughtful and like leveraging the content and all the views and followers, I'm able to speak to now.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I feel like that's also been kind of like strategic on my end.
That's a genius strategy. So you're probably one of the first creators in the Bay Area who don't want to move to LA.
I don't see the value of moving to LA as much. I think the only value of moving to LA is like if you want to get into more acting and you want to pursue that route. But personally, I actually, that's not really where I want to go. I mean, if I was given an offer by some top tier, like maybe Netflix was like, we want to put you as one of the main characters on a show, like, yes, I'd probably say yes to that. But I think that like create your own opportunities. Like, it's hard to make that a success. So for me, that looked like, hey, you know what, I can reach tens of millions of people by taking out a phone and doing a funny character.
Yeah.
It'd probably be to build a massive brand and then to become such a big brand that people are aware of.
People reach out to you.
Movies would be like, we want to be you to be in a movie. So,
yeah.
So.
Have you had any actor training or like any acting classes? Have you taken them?
I have not. I mean, I did like theater class.
You're
like,
a natural.
In like high school, like for a couple months. But yeah, I have not.
And so the way he switches from, can you show us?
I can show you. Yeah, I can do the character.
Just watch this.
I hope no one skips this part of the interview and then they're just like, well, who is this? Yeah. But I'll switch. I'll do the tech character and I'll do the European kid for a bit. Yeah.
So you're the tech, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the valuation of your company reflects the reality?
Like, I think that the last valuation we had was just not substantial. Like, we've been putting in a lot of work. Okay, I have been sleeping endlessly every single night to build this company. Okay, and it's really hard for me to see a valuation that just doesn't reflect that work. I think investors are just out of their minds.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness.
We've raised $20 million and I think we should be raising more. So that's the tech character.
That is great.
Yeah.
This is the European kid. Louis, what do you think about this studio?
I mean, I get invited to a lot of places. I mean, well, it's fine. You have some plants here. Where'd you get these plants?
I don't know.
Are they nice? No, they're not. Okay.
You can say more nasty things. I'm fine with
that. I mean, yes, I have a lot of business. Honestly, it's hard to switch to a European character, especially now because I do my tech SEO. Like, my brother would switch like way faster because he has also way more practice. So I have to give him credit.
But also, where'd you get the inspiration for the European? Do you encounter these people in your life?
I mean, I grew up in Brussels, and I went to this international school, and it was just filled with like elites.
And they behave like this.
I mean, they don't behave like that, but like you kind of get a sense. I think we're also good at like picking up like obviously we exaggerate a lot, but like we're good at like picking up these
the
like subtleties and stuff. Honestly, if I grew up in the U.S., like it would be impossible for us to do a French character. It'd be so tricky, and it's a lot more believable because we actually speak French. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people will just speak to me in French when they meet me.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak 4.
French, English,
Greek, Spanish.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Since you come from Europe, I'm from Russia.
Yeah.
Used to completely different level of service, food, everything. What do you feel here? Like, do you feel this difference? Does it really affect you, or you don't care?
The service.
Yeah.
In
quality
US?
of food.
Oh yes, I have a lot to say.
Public transportation.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot to say on that. I mean, I just came from Dubai, like I want to say like 2-3 weeks ago, and it honestly is astonishing. Like coming from like a place like Dubai or coming from like Belgium, it's astonishing, the quality of the food, how the government runs. I mean, we're also in a very specific part of the US, like California itself. You know, San Francisco has a lot of major problems. But yeah, I think the biggest complaint for me is like the food, honestly. I love...
Even like San Francisco is actually so much better than the rest of... I feel like the rest of the country. New York, San Francisco, they're like... LA, we have decent restaurants, but still, like compared to Dubai.
Yeah.
How does it like, because I know a lot of people who actually moved out of the US because of that. Because they were used to quality food. They were used to using public transportation. They couldn't just drive their kids around all the time.
Yeah.
They were used to, you know, different method of, like everything is different in that part of the world. But for you right now, like, do you see yourself living here for the next 10, 20 years? Or you think it's just, you know, part of your life that's here, and you see if you start a family, raise your kids, where would you think it's going to be?
It's a great question. Honestly, I think that at this point in my life, I'm quite young. I just want to move fast and like accomplish as much as possible. So I'm literally willing to live in any part of the world where I can move as fast as possible and I could accomplish the things I want. So I think for the next like 3-4 years, I'll go anywhere. If that means New York, if that means San Francisco, I'll go. I definitely at some point in my life when I'm like thinking about raising a family, I think I'd probably move to Europe. I'd want to go somewhere where I can make sure I can prioritize like the well-being of my kids and making sure that they're growing up somewhere. Yeah, I think their well-being is going to be like really, really important. And so for now, I'm honestly happy to be anywhere. I think San Francisco, I'll be here for another year or two. Then I might have to go to New York, but I'm still honestly planning a lot of things out.
So San Francisco, you said a couple of years. What are the goals? To do more tech, meet more founders?
Yeah, I think the goals are like, one is like really scale this account as much as possible. And so I think the more I can scale it, especially the size of the European kid, the more that I can like start to pursue opportunities where like the more interesting opportunities, like being an advisor, you know, building like tech companies around the content. I think that reflecting on the audience I have right now, it's like a lot of tech founders, a lot of VC angel investors. I think that if there was a really great product I could provide to them, I have an incredible...
Like what? Do you have any ideas?
It's actually a question I've been thinking about. I really don't have any specific ideas right now, and I'm not focused as much on it, but I recognize that one of the hardest things when you're building a tech company is distribution, is growth. And so I realized that if I fix the problem of growth by having a account that is reaching, you know, millions and millions of tech founders, the distribution side will not be difficult. So I haven't really thought too much about the product, but I know that I'm solving one problem that has to be solved either way. And you can definitely build a tech company, obviously, without having millions of followers. It's just harder. And I think that even just the way I've been able to leverage the account so far, even with these dinners, for example, right? The dinner yesterday was a lot through my own personal network, but like, you know, future dinner, I'm doing a dinner in Dubai, for example, and then one in Riyadh. I'm going to just post a story and I'm going to find, you know, like 100 incredible people respond to that.
Why do you travel so much? Why do you go to Dubai all the time? What's going on? Just for content?
Yeah. I mean, we went to Dubai. We had also a couple like sponsorship deals.
To watch through different occasions, different cities that I'm gonna be.
Here we go with the Patek Philippe.
I only do loud.
I'm in the Belge Al Arab, and today I'm gonna be trying the most expensive coffee in the world.
We love traveling as well. So I think, yeah, the fact that we can go to Dubai and like get some kind of sponsorship deals, film amazing content that is going to do pretty well, like, and also enjoy it, like that's perfect.
Can you share the range that you charge for a brand deal?
I don't know if I can, honestly, because
maybe to like something.
I would say like the biggest deal was like maybe like $5K a video, but like it's usually a little bit less. I'm sure that number is only going to go up, but just to give
so
you
it
like
doesn't really pay for your trip. Like if you're going to Dubai for two of you.
I mean, if we do multiple, like it'll pay for it.
So
but,
you will need,
yeah. Honestly, they're also the range will sometimes depend. Like there'll be companies that we really want to work with. But yeah, just like a number, if I was going to give one.
What's the most exciting brand that you worked with?
That's an interesting one. I think maybe VistaJet. VistaJet
yeah,
was pretty exciting.
Oh my God, when I saw the Jet brand deal, I'm like,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. I think that's definitely up there.
What's the dream collab?
Yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream.
What is your next like dream collab?
I think the next dream collab. So I'd say for the European kid, it's like probably like a top tier like luxury like
LVMH.
Yeah, like a designer.
Yeah.
LVMH is tricky because there's actually a funny story around the LVMH. I don't know. I'll share it real quick. It's pretty funny. But my brother, he did this video. He did a video in front of a nightclub in New York, and in that video, he mentioned like, "Do you know who you're messing with? You're messing with the richest family in Europe."
You don't even know who you're messing with. You don't know who you're messing with. The richest family in Europe. Do you realize who my dad is? Do you realize who my dad is? Why? Your mother never told you?
Sign worth it, bro. Sign worth it.
And what happened was like, that video went super viral. It had like 40, 50 million views. All these media articles started picking it up. They're like, "Is this the fourth son of Bernard Arnault?"
Because you look a little bit like Alexander.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, everyone is like,
because you're tall and like
it's tall, slender. Yeah,
yeah.
And it was so funny. Like there was all these articles come out. At some point, you would search Bernard Arnault in the internet, and my brother's video would pop up.
Did they reach out to you?
And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then what happened all of a sudden was there was a blast of media just coming, like news articles coming out and be like, "This is not the son. This is a TikToker. This is his full name." They exposed all our information. I don't know how they dug it up. They exposed everything about us.
So you think LVMH paid?
Possibly, yeah. One of the most reputable media companies, media outlets in France is called Le Monde, came out with an article about it. And I was like, okay, there's something's
going on, yeah.
Some like, Bernard, I'm not saying this happened, but like it's definitely not far from what could have happened. He probably saw this. He's like the richest, I think he's like the richest man in the world right now.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he saw this. He's like,
or his PR team, and they're
his PR team thought like,
this.
"What the heck is this? Like, we got to fix this."
Yeah.
So LVMH will be a tricky one, but I think if we grow big enough, we'll be able to get there.
Yeah, I feel like with those fashion brands, they don't even care about the following. They really want you to send the right message. So maybe even they would come for the text, because I feel like if you're too arrogant, because they want, like, I'm talking to a lot of people in fashion because I really want to get into fashion.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, Marina, you just wore this particular brand that is kind of cool, but it's not respected in the fashion world.
Interesting.
So you want to work with fashion brands,
so particular.
Yeah, I know. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it would be great if you could collab with them, because this would open up like another layer of their content and like open more doors for creators as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it'd be a very cool collab, but at the same time, like, we don't want to push anything. We don't want to. I think that the best thing I've learned from all these like the branded collabs that we've done is that if you keep putting value, if you like keep building a brand as big as possible, like the right people will come.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like we don't want to pursue anything. We don't want to be like knocking on their door. We want to get big enough where it's like they'll come to us.
What about the brand deals on that channel?
Yeah, I mean, they've also been good, honestly. And it's funny, it's like not even that big of an account. We have like, I want to say like 83K on Instagram. But I think because the audience is so great, we have like a very, very
Bay Area?
Yeah,
mostly?
Bay Area audience, like New York City. The audience is fantastic. And actually, like, I've noticed it because I've done a couple events where I just like bring people from those that watch the content to them. And I meet like very, very talented people, like senior software engineer at like top tech companies. I meet like really impressive founders that have raised like tens of millions. And then also like a handful of like angel investors. So I think because of that, like brands recognize that. And so we actually have a lot of like sponsorship opportunities from that one as well. It's more from like tech companies. But yeah, that's also being great.
Have you ever thought about a stand-up show?
I honestly have. Like, I did a mixer yesterday actually, and like,
oh, you did?
Yeah, I did one yesterday.
Wow. Was it your first time, or?
It was sort of like a first time. Yeah,
wow,
I'd say.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Was it scary?
I did stand up. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna improvise.
Yeah.
And I did one, and I felt so good. And I was like, I have to do more of these.
Did you do like the Texio thing, or?
I did a Texio, yeah. I like brought, like, there was like I want to say like 50 people there or something, and I just like grabbed a mic and I was like, I just improvised. I was like, listen, guys, sorry to let you know, but you're all laid off. We're a super profitable company, and the only way we can become profitable and stay profitable is by like laying you guys off. Like something random. I just came up, and it was great. It was a great energy. It was pretty
amazing.
funny. So,
I feel like it's a good path as well. Doing the stand-ups, doing shows.
Yeah.
Then maybe get invited to like a Netflix show about Silicon
Valley.
Valley.
That'd be awesome, honestly. Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for you.
So yeah.
Who's the most exciting person you've met on this journey?
Let me think. I've definitely met some really, really cool people. Like some very big celebrities,
can
like
you name
actors.
Them?
I mean, yeah, I guess I can, but like it's like very low key. Like meeting these people, like Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah.
On a boat?
No, like in Miami actually.
In Miami?
Yeah. Like at a party, like really randomly, like was wearing like masks and stuff. I've also met a lot of like, I think for me, especially in the Bay Area, I've just met so many incredible like tech founders, people that have built like insanely impressive companies.
Do you know their faces? That's the interesting part. Because sometimes I'm like, because I did this video when I was walking through the airport and Brian Chesky was standing in line towards like a regular plane. I just stood there and I was recording a vlog, so it was very nice. I was like, oh my God, this is Brian Chesky. And I approached him and I said hi. And most of the comments were like, that's so good for you that you knew his face. Because a lot of, they know their brands. But does that happen to you? Like you meet someone, they're like, I'm the CEO of Meta.
It doesn't happen to me because like I'm pretty familiar of like all the execs and the CEOs.
So you did your...
But totally. Like I also met a lot of people and I'm like, oh, like I did this video with Justin Kahn. And they're like, Justin Kahn? Like co-founder of the guy who co-founded Twitch. Like, oh, Twitch. Oh, yeah. Like, it's like very subtle. Like, most people don't know their faces, which is actually funny because in my case, I'm always thinking to myself, it'd be really cool if I got this CEO in this video. But honestly, it doesn't carry that much weight. It's like that CEO is not as well known. You know, even if I did a video with Brian, like people obviously know an Airbnb, but like no one knows his face.
But if it's your like tech profile, like the tech CEO, they would probably know. And that would add some weight.
But at the same time, it's not that well known. I mean, how many followers does Brian Chesky have on Instagram? I think he has like maybe like 80, 90,000. He's not like a celebrity, you know, but Airbnb is extremely well known. So I think if you bring that up, it definitely helps.
But it's interesting if you could do collabs with all those people, right? That could be cool.
Absolutely. I mean, that's definitely where I want to take it as well. And I also, one of the things I really want to do with the tech CEO character is I love entertaining stuff, but I also want to provide a lot more value, like informational value. I recognize that like the reason why I started with entertainment is because I think to build an audience, you have to entertain. And then once you've built an audience, you can start to interject more interesting and insightful things. But I think it's very hard to start off with very insightful and then to grow that audience. It'll grow slower, but you'll have a very strong audience versus like entertainment first. You'll grow a massive audience and then you can start to be thoughtful around how to make people engaged even with more insightful things.
Okay, another question that I had. What was the most challenging thing mentally for you on this journey of becoming super recognizable?
So becoming recognizable, becoming like just someone, you know, having people walk up to you at a party, knowing who you are, it's great. It feels obviously awesome. It can get tiring. I'm personally fine with it. Like I recharge. I can have no problems with it. I think the biggest problem I have with becoming a social media kind of like star and influencer is I used to meditate every single day. I used to be very, very disciplined. I used to wake up like at the exact same time. I used to like visualize. I used to do a lot of different very strict habits. But being an influencer and like the dopamine you get from the numbers and from logging into your account and like scrolling to see how many views your videos get, that completely knocks off like your dopamine levels. I think the biggest thing is like it's so hard to be a disciplined influencer that at the same time is going viral because it's you just get so much dopamine from like seeing the views. Without a doubt, if Instagram wasn't built the way it was in terms of like, you know, getting so much dopamine from it, I wouldn't have been able to scale as much because I wouldn't have felt like as like hungry for more views and stuff. Like there's definitely like a loop there, and I definitely acknowledge that as a creator. But yeah, I think that's one of the things I'd say.
Okay, what's your advice to creators who are just starting out?
I think it's really tricky. I think that every creator is going to be different in how they approach content, and not only and in some cases like it's not even like you shouldn't necessarily even be a creator. Maybe you should do something else that's like maybe not a YouTuber, maybe not like a person who's posting Instagram reels, but maybe more focused on like X or Twitter. But I guess my advice is just really you have to focus on like what you're inherently good at. Like no one can copy me and try to do what I did because no one was born and raised in Belgium, learned French, learned how to do a French accent, is really good at accents, and also understands the tech space.
Yeah.
Like no one can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's someone who can do that, but it's hard. So you have to pursue what you're inherently really good at, like what perfectly aligns with your experience and what you want to do. That's how I think about everything.
I love that advice because a lot of people just try to copy whatever there is online, like and even copy I'm okay with copying like content, the trends, but like when you're copying somebody else's personality, you just can't do it consistently.
You can't. And you're limiting yourself to being in a box and trying to go in someone else's tracks, but you really have to find your own track. And I know this sounds like very generic. It really is true. And at least it applies for my life. There is you can get a lot of success from like mimicking the success of others. But personally, I think that in today's world, just looking at also how fast AI is advancing and all these incredible technologies, like where we're going to be in 5 years is nowhere near as anything you will have ever experienced in the last 5 or 10 years.
That's true.
So you can't really copy anyone these days. Like even this content stuff, there was no one I looked up to that said, oh, he built these reels that got millions and millions of views and built these followings.
So you've never seen this format
This
online.
is all new. Yeah, this is all new format. This was not possible 3 years ago because reels and TikTok wasn't what it is today. And so that's something to consider. Like there's all these emerging technologies. Platforms are constantly changing. The algorithms are changing. That opens up opportunities for new things.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. So happy for your progress.
Thank
and
you.
I'm so glad I discovered you on Instagram, reached out to you.
Absolutely,
and I'm glad you're here in San Francisco because we don't have too many creators here, but the creators that we do have, they're all amazing. And thank you so much for bringing different parts of the Bay Area together during dinners, when you're filming your content. It was great to have you on this podcast.
I'm so glad to be here. Yeah, and it's definitely a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have met you. You're also like an incredibly accomplished creator and very thoughtful as well, and also very, very strategic. So I feel like any creator that I meet in SF like yourself is a lot more talented, and I think I don't want to use this word smart, but like is a lot smarter about how they're approaching things.
Like business.
Exactly, more from
approach.
a business perspective.
Yeah.
Perspective. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here and also to be in circles with you.